2019 trip to the East Coast was our chance to try out our new trailer and truck, which we've been planning to take across the continent and down to South America in 2020. We were excited to see everything Eastern Canada has to offer, but only had 3 weeks to see as much as we could. Leaving from Ottawa, we passed quickly through Ontario and Quebec, spent a couple days in New Brunswick enjoying the Bay of Fundy National Park. We got to explore the bottom of the ocean at low tide and learn about hermit crabs and other sea creatures among some cool rock formations. Dad was still getting used to parking the trailer and thought he broke the transmission when a bunch of engine lights turned on. A quick stop at the Toyota dealer in Moncton, we were once again ready to roll. Onward to Nova Scotia, we focused our time on Cape Breton, driving the Cabot Trail, one of the most famous and beautiful roads in the world. We weren't disappointed by the drive, or by the beautiful campsite we had high on a hill, overlooking the ocean. There was a great beach nearby to enjoy a sunny afternoon. We collected beautiful pieces of mica from the cliffside. After our first real East Coast seafood dinner, we took an evening hike and saw a pod of dolphins in the distance. The first week of the trip was just getting us to Newfoundland, where we planned to spend the next week. Getting there meant taking the overnight ferry, which was the first time on a ship for us kids. Luckily, some of our friends were also taking the ferry and we got to hang out all day, even putting on a play for the parents. The food on the boat was really good, and after a big supper, we squeezed into our small room where Mom got kicked in the head all night by Simon. In St. John's, we spent a day walking around downtown, taking in the sights of the harbor and all the historic buildings. We got rained on for the first time on the trip, and though we got wet, it felt kind of fitting for Newfoundland. The next day, we took a whale and puffin watching boat tour, which was a lot of fun. The captain told us lots of jokes, and we saw thousands of puffins. It was unfortunately a bit too late in the season for whales. We'll have to try to see some on the West Coast next year. Cape Spear is the easternmost point in North America, and really, really windy. We took in the view with a hilltop picnic and imagined how long it would take a boat to Europe from here. We also spent a day at Signal Hill, which overlooks St. John's and is where the first radio signal went across the Atlantic in 1901. The Science Center nearby was awesome, and since it wasn't too busy, we almost had the place to ourselves. We had a great guide who explained what happened to the Titanic and also put on some science experiments for us. We learned about Newfoundland's unique geology and even tried to pan for gold. Over a couple long drive days, we drove a big loop of Newfoundland into our next big destination, Grossmoor National Park. We did a few other beautiful hikes near the ocean where we picked berries and enjoyed collecting rocks and driftwood. We really love national parks because they're always so beautiful and unique and have a great visitor centers with activities.
A yellow flower, a blue rock, and a purple flower. I found this pine cone, which is covered in sap.
We enjoyed our favorite campsite yet, with a beach and a bouncy pillow. Dad took a run up Grossmoor Mountain one morning and saw a moose and some awesome views. One evening at Lobster Cove Head, we jumped from rock to rock exploring the tide pools and found so many crabs and other creatures we couldn't identify. We all headed to the famous Tablelands, where the guide taught us about how the mountains in the park are only one of 2 places in the world that you can see a piece of the Earth's mantle. It was time to take the ferry back to the mainland and start heading back to Ottawa. One of our stops, we collected lots of little crab shells and seashells and created the skeleton of a terror crab. Prince Edward Island was our last province to visit, and we again stayed at National Park in Cavendish. The beach there was the best we've ever seen, and we spent the whole day in the sun and the waves. What would a visit to PEI be without checking out the Anne of Green Gables house? Though we haven't yet read the book, we learned all about it and the kind of life Anne lived in the story. 3 weeks, lots of driving, even more great memories. We're now sure that we'll be ready to take on our even bigger journey next year.